Well, this is the Betfred Boxing Show. Another one as well, because of course we had the workout last night, which was a bit unique, I think it's fair to say, Anthony.
Very. I thought my days of performing in musical chairs was over, but
very impressive.
I got that win, and we move on.
Got that win, and you mean that as well, don't you? You were pushing Sonny Bill, I should say, Sonny Bill Williams off his chair.
Off his chair, sat him on my knee.
Pushing your luck a bit there.
I did. I thought he was going to come for me today, but and all that. I won a £250 voucher.
And we met the Grinch and some of the lunatics, and as you would imagine. So
Crazy
it was good. The workout was great. Obviously, catching up with all the fighters. Today we're at the Stoller Hall in Manchester, just opposite the arena as well, to speak to Eddie Hearn. We'll catch up with him a bit later on, and just to see the final press conference. And you never know really what you're going to expect at the press conference. One good bit of news: Rhiannon Dixon definitely has a fight. Your fighter.
Yes, a few sleepless nights, but now she's finally got a fight confirmed. I was worried that it wasn't going to happen. It was going to be Liverpool point two. She's on now. I'm just happy, and she goes in there Saturday, does a job on a great card.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get set up. We're going to watch all the action unfold here at the press conference and see who we catch up with. Well, the press conference is over. We know, of course, it's Parker Chisora 2 here in Manchester on Saturday night, and a big stacked card as well, very interesting card. As ever, it's great to have Eddie Hearn join us on the Betfred Boxing Show. Eddie, first things first, Derek Chisora.
I mean, just want to say that the production values of the Betfred show haven't gone down. They've asked me to put this up on my top, but with a polo top on, one of these little cheeky turtles. Yeah. It wasn't. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, just said to him then, "What are you doing, Del?" It's after the presser. He's like, "Great singing." I said, "Yeah, but now everyone thinks I'm a plonker." I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, it was funny, wasn't it?" I was like, but he puts people on edge. Like Higgins. Higgins was bricking it. He sort of come over. It's quite scary, Del. And you, even as well as I know him, sometimes you don't know if he's being serious or not. Like with his stare and stuff like that. So I think we're going to get a great fight. I don't see this fight going the distance. Yeah. I think they're both not really. I think they're underestimating what having a huge crowd back will do for them in this fight. Yeah. Chisora's boxed his last 2 fights behind closed doors, Usyk and Joseph Parker. And I ask you, would have those results been different if there was a crowd? Yeah. The Parker one, I think yes, to be honest with you, because I think he would have got more credit for the work he was doing as opposed to, silence in the arena. So I think we're going to get a great fight, and it's a great card. 4 brilliant 50-50s on the card, and I was looking at the odds with you guys, and there's some really interesting fights in there in terms of Carlos Gongora. The bookies make him a big favourite in that fight against Leron Richards, and Tarimo is a very, very dangerous guy. And by the way, Sadjo, I think Betfred make him a 2-1 or 3-1 outsider against Jack Cullen. I'm not sure about that either. So it's a lot of fun on Saturday night when you're looking at that respect.
Going on about one of the other title fights, Ed, I don't know about you, maybe I'm a bit soft. During you hearing both the stories of Zelfa and Tarimo, I just started crying, mate. Obviously, my boy's always Zelfa, but regarding Zelfa, he comes through in style Saturday night. There's going to be a race between him and Joe Cardino to get the Agawa fight.
I mean, it's a brilliant fight. I mean, every Aussie that I've spoken to has said, Jesus, this Tarimo,
relentless.
He's a machine. He's really small. Like, he could make super bantam, probably feather, but he's had these decent wins at super feather, and they put him in this position. Like you said, Crolla, with a story, there's always someone's got a worse story than you in it. You came out, I remember when you chased that burglar down the street, broke your ankle, fractured skull, you lost that fight, and then you hear someone like Bruno Tarimo's story, and you go, actually, it's not too bad, So it is. It's these guys come from tough backgrounds, but don't underestimate the pain that Zelfa's gone through with losing his mum and stuff like that. And this is his moment at Manchester Arena, big crowd. This is a chance for him to become a star. And Joe Cardino had a bit of a flat performance last week in a fight that probably didn't motivate him. This is actually a fight for Zelfa where he could put a great performance in and put himself in pole position. By the way, if it's not a Gower for either of those two should fight each other, Joe Cardino and Zelfa Barrett. That's a brilliant fight. Because everyone's waiting around. You look at the light heavyweight division, same thing. Got Boatzy, Craig Richards, Anthony Yard. I know Callum's got his shot now, but you've got Callum Swift. Sooner or later, if you can't get Bivol or whoever, fight each other. You know what I mean? And that could be the case with Barrett against Cardino, but a really tough fight for Zelfa on Saturday.
Has this been an interesting promotion, this one? Because with everything that's been going on, with changing restrictions and this, that and the other, I mean, all being well now, you'll get this one over the line, and thankfully it's the end of the year then, because it's got to give you sleepless nights.
Well, this is our tomorrow night in Uzbekistan is our 43rd show of the year, and Saturday is our 44th show of the year in, I think, 9 different countries. Like, what the team have done is incredible to keep things going at this rate. And like you said, it's just like all of a sudden you find an opponent and that country goes on the red list. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then you get another opponent and they fail a COVID test. And then you've got to bring people in earlier. They've got to isolate. You've got to test. It's a complete nightmare. But it is what it is. We've kind of learned to adapt now. And listen, there is a chance in January we may have to stage a behind closed door event again, which I hope we don't have to go back to. But we've got to do what we've got to do. And we've got to keep providing opportunities. It's rewarding to see our guys turn around this year and go, I've actually been quite active. I've boxed.
You've even had Higgins praising you.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's difficult. But again, it's not as difficult as Bruno Tarimo.
Yes, exactly. Puts fingers in perspective.
Exactly. I can't moan saying, it's so difficult. It is difficult. It's a job. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But we're lucky. We're lucky people.
Talking about the year, you can give us one. You can pick an highlight out from that year. Give us one.
Probably Cambosos beating Lopez at the Garden. I mean, it was just I'll be honest, I didn't give him much chance in that fight. No. I saw him against Selby and he sort of edged past that, and I thought, just can't see it. And that was special. Seeing Devin beat Linares and Jojo Diaz back to back. Chocolatito against Estrada 2 was just a brilliant fight. And even although it was painful, AJ Usyk at Spurs, to come through and see that again, and then you start looking, and then I'm thinking, well, we also broke the indoor record in America for Canelo against Saunders, 70,000 at Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I've done that. I promoted that. And it's only when you look back, because the year, everything you do is week by week. It's all a blur. Yeah. We're putting together at the moment a sort of promo, like just a nice feature of the year. And I'm writing down bits, and I'm going, wow. We also did Yildirim Canelo at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
Yes.
Then we did Saunders against. Then we did Spurs. Then we did Uzbekistan. Then we did Mexico. Then so listen, it's been amazing.
Headingley with Josh, that was a big night.
Yeah. So
is that realistic, by the way? As you mentioned, Canelo, in your opinion, with the Usyk thing and coming down.
I think, look, you're going to have to, when you present to Sal and Eddie, you're going to have to present something that excites them. Yeah. Standard defences, stuff like that, just doesn't excite them. So that's why the Makabu thing is quite interesting to them, because, we could become 5-weight world champion or whatever it is. I like trying to become undisputed at 175. I think if he can do that across 2 divisions, that's the kind of thing that'll excite him. And you look at it, I can give him Bivol as a fight. Yeah. Joe Smith would take that fight, and then you fight Beterbiev, and you can do that over 12 months, and he could be, I think he's a favourite in the first 2, and then Beterbiev needs to get a little bit older quickly, but he's still beatable, but there's something that would just make Sal and Eddie go, yes, that's exciting, because they're not bothered about, is it good defence for good money? Yeah. They'd rather do something different.
Just give us an insight then. What's Christmas for you now? I mean, again, you get this weekend out of the way, you breathe a little bit. Talk us through it.
And now you're going to the darts.
Yeah, I mean, the darts started last night, and it's just wild. It's absolutely wild, and that's a case now of when we started seeing Boris calling press conferences last week. You think, will we get through Manchester? And now will we get through Ali Pali? So all the tickets are sold. Everyone's going to have a great time, and we'll make sure all the restrictions and rules are followed. Hopefully we will have a great World Championships, whatever happens at Ali Pali, and I think it's going to be a real close run thing. You were talking about Gerwyn Price. Van Gerwen's coming with a chip on his shoulder, but now 4 or 5 people who are all capable of winning that event. And as I see every year, the viewing figures, the ticket sales, it's a phenomenon, that event. It's the perfect couch watching, and at Christmas sofa watching. Even better being the world champs. Yeah, we've had a few review there.
Is there some comparison as well with boxing? Because we see Rhiannon Dixon sat there today, Sandy Ryan, and then with the darts, obviously there's been a big story with Sharrock and whatever.
Well, the difference with Sharrock is she's competing against the men. That's why it's so unique. If she took part, and there is a thriving women's scene as well, but if she took part in a women's tournament, she'd be a front runner. But she's beating men and going deep in tournaments. It's really unique and great for the sport, because obviously it's creating a huge amount of noise.
And then Christmas Day. Do you have
Christmas
a day
Day, I'd be round my mum's, big turkey, pigs in blankets, the stuffing. But my favourite meal bar none.
Yeah.
It's Boxing Day, cold turkey, gammon, chips and peas. That is it. That is my favourite, mate.
Things.
And probably with a fried egg as well on the gammon. That is my favourite meal, bar none.
That's
gammon,
a proper estate meal. That's a proper council estate meal.
Gammon, that's how it was back in the day, Crolla. Gammon, fried egg, chips and peas, mate. I'm done.
And you just reminded me, your dad's had a special trip this week.
Yeah, OBE collected from Windsor Castle. He's been waiting a long time. Services to sport.
Yeah.
So well deserved, and he's been walking around with his little medal. And he won't. You know, my old man. He'll hardly mention it at all.
Yeah. How's the competition then? Now you've got to do one better.
I've got to get knighted.
Yes.
No chance, but you know.
You've got time.
Yeah, I've got time.
Well, good luck with the show anyway, Eddie. Enjoy the darts. Happy Christmas.
Cheers, guys.
All the best.
Well, the press conference is over. It's Joseph Parker against Derek Chisora, of course, in Manchester, and a man who has got his feet firmly in the Parker camp, of course. We've seen him over on these shores many a time. David Higgins, now, all very nice with you and Eddie Hearn these days, by the way. I used to like it with a bit of needle.
Well, if he gives a needle, I'll return the fire. But, you know, they're good operators, and, you know, they're good to work with. So banter's fine too.
Yeah.
So, David, you've been around the world, put shows on around the world, back home. Is there something about a UK crowd that you think is more special than anywhere else?
No.
That's that.
People are people. They're the same value
Atmosphere.
in every country. Oh, they probably they're a bit louder and a bit more, ruckus. So you're probably more aware of the crowd.
Yes.
So what about Joe now with Andy Lee, of course, because he a long time with the Barry family and all the rest of it, and it was a real change for him to do that, to come over here, sacrifice the family time and all the rest of it. What are you expecting to see, the changes now at the weekend?
I think Andy's been working on Joseph being present every split second, not doing something and then tuning out, and which is hard to do. It's like meditating. Joseph said it's very tiring, but literally being present every second. So it's like, I guess, playing cricket. Instead of premeditating your shots, you're watching the ball and then responding appropriately. And so with Chisora, if Joseph is being present and not premeditating, then he's ready to move or, throw the right punch, and then knockout might come.
Joseph gets the win on Saturday night again, David. You're going to look to be pushing him. He's going to be right in contention for world titles. Final eliminator, or if a shot comes up, is that the plan? Yeah, sure. Like, Joseph's never shied away from a step up, so we'll take the next best opportunity, whether that's Joe Joyce or whoever.
Yeah, what would be your dream fight, really, for the next fight?
Doesn't matter who. There's no dream fight. It's just what makes the most sense on a risk-return level. There's pathways to the title. Like Joyce, I think, is number one WBO. And you never know. Like, someone could get injured. Like Ruiz got the call up against Joshua. Yeah. So anything. And you raise a good point. Joseph is highly ranked, and he's got a household name status, and he's good to work with. So he's the sort of guy, if they want to call someone up, he's ready-made.
And do you agree with him when he says he couldn't fight Tyson Fury because they're like brothers now?
Well, it's changed, because at first he did want to fight him, and then it went into Tyson wouldn't fight him, but Joseph said it's business, he'd still fight Tyson. Yeah. But now after this camp, Joseph's now saying, no, I can't fight him.
And you're happy with that? If that fight presents itself,
whatever works for them. Yeah. It's whatever works for them. It is a business. Yeah. It's like other sports, you can compete and still be friends. Yeah. So that is possible, but you've got to respect how they feel about it.
Finally, Joseph, on your stable, from me anyway, tell us about some names you're excited about. One or two of your prospects you're excited about.
Well, David Naik is here from New Zealand, and he's I think got 2 Commonwealth gold and Olympic bronze. So he's got a big future, very popular back in New Zealand, so he's quite exciting.
Finally, we've got to wish you a happy Christmas, and we hope you get home, because it's a bit of a precarious situation. Tell us what it's all about.
It's a bizarre situation. I'm not allowed to fly back home. You have to win an MIQ room through a lottery system. So basically, you're a citizen, but you're not allowed home. So I'm going to float around trying to keep out of trouble.
And that's why that's why you've been nice to Eddie, because you might be serious. You might be staying at his gaff for Christmas.
Yeah, might have to. Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the fight. All the very best, David.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, that is it. The final press conference of the year on the Betfred Boxing Show is at an end, and we have caught up with the promoters, and that was our aim today, to catch up with Eddie. Obviously, it was good to speak to David Higgins as well. But the press conference, firstly, I mean, Derek, I know we spoke to Eddie about it, but this fella, and we saw him last night in full flow, but today, again, he always pulls something out of the bag, doesn't he?
He does. I'm glad he had to play musical chairs rather than a bit of karaoke, what Eddie delivered, and he delivered well, some voice on the man.
Yeah.
But, you never know what you're getting with Derek. There's never a dull moment, and I think the Queen song probably worked better than him speaking, to be honest.
Well, it made a point, I think. Anyway, Derek always does what Derek does, but in terms of the fight, anything changed as far as you're concerned? How is it going to pan out?
I'm really looking forward to it. Like you say, you never know what you're going to get with Derek sort of outside the ring, but I think in the ring, one thing that I fit and focus, Derek Chisora is an handful for absolutely anyone in the division, the top names, including your Usyks, your Furies, who he's shared the ring with. But such a tough one, because I think both fighters are going to be better. I'm backing my boy Derek. Points, Derek, close.
Yep.
Close.
So you said that last night, you've not changed, you've seen the press conference now, you're sticking with that?
I'm sticking with it, but it's not one that I have with great confidence.
Quick fire stuff. Does Jack Cullen, in that European title fight, does he get the arm raised against Sajid?
Yes, if he gets the arms raised in a thriller, possibly fight of the night. I think we've spoke to Jack. Any fight involving little levers, meat cleaver, he's going to end up in a war, and that's going to. He just giggled away when we asked him, and in the head-to-head, it was just like both of them thought, "Nah, I'm ready for a tear-up."
What about Lerone, the hot crossbun man himself, Richards? He's got a tough one against Gongora.
He has got him, and he's a pretty big underdog, and I think there's great value in Lerone. He's skills pay bills, and that's certainly the case with Lerone. Very, very slick, and I think he could frustrate Gongora throughout. But listen, tough fight, but there's certainly value in him.
Zelfa Barrett, your old sparring partner, and again in with the test.
He's in a real fight. He's in a real fight, and he's fighting an opponent there who's super motivated. But you've got a man in Zelfa who's exactly the same. He's had a tough 12 months, but both of them are like, I think listening to the story, I sort of said to Eddie, it was like a bit emotional, where you're thinking both of these boys have had it tough, and they're going to leave it all in there Saturday night. I'm backing Zelfa. I think size will come into it. Hits very hard, very sharp puncher, as I know very well over the years. I think he gets the job done inside the distance in a very exciting fight.
Other fights on the card as well, but the final one I'm going to ask you about, Rhiannon Dixon. She has got an opponent, which was the main thing. She gets out. What do you want to see from her in this one?
I just want to see some of the improvements in what we've been working on in the gym. And then hopefully we see them. We're going to have anyone who sees her talking about her being one of the main players going forward on the women's side of the game in the next 12 months. I genuinely think she's that good. I feel a bit wrong. I'm putting pressure on her, but I think she's that good. She's that capable of being one of those girls. And but more than anything, I'm just thankful she's out.
Final one then, Ant. We asked Eddie. I'm going to ask you, what's the highlight of the year?
Highlight of the year, I think, without sounding just correct, I think seeing Crolla's fight was a big one. I think we had a few amazing weeks in the heavyweight division regarding Joshua Usyk, an unbelievable performance from Usyk, unbelievable event. And then also, a few weeks later, we had a fight, the ages really, in the final fight in the trilogy, the trilogy of Fury and Wilder. So I think there was 2 weeks there. It was great that absolutely everyone was speaking about boxing, and I always love it when the country or the world's speaking about boxing. I think it's a great time. But listen, obviously standout performances, as Eddie said, from George Kambosos. The lightweight division, Lomachenko looking good. Back, that's the division next year where I want to see some great fights. Mate.
And you're retired.
You're telling me, mate. I've said it time and time again. Those fighters, I wish I was still around.
Right, well, listen, Anne, it's our final one, so have a great Christmas.
And you too,
and obviously we've got the weekend to get through. We look forward to the boxing and everything else. And the Betfred Boxing Show will return bigger, better than ever in the new year. Thanks for watching.